show with my brother in recovery and sponsor,
Rob H.
Yeah, that's right. We got a special guest host tonight.
So special.
Right, we have a great show for you today. Today we have the normal host who's going to be a guest, Mr. Timmy.
Alcoholic addict Tim.
Yeah, there you go. And a really good friend of mine, Murdoch. You want to say hi?
Hello.
Hey, so...
so proper. Did you hear that? Hello.
Yeah, he's all proper. There's nothing proper
I promise
about this
everybody
guy.
I will not be that tonight.
Right. So I'm going to cut the promo since my normal host isn't here, even though he is here. This is weird. He's not in his chair. It's crazy.
Talk about him in third person, but he's not in third person.
Tim is here, guys.
He's just not a host, so he doesn't get to do host
Tim
stuff.
won't let you forget to do some.
Hey, we go over the spiel. The guests don't talk until I say, let's chop it up.
You haven't had decent enough guests to know better.
Oh, my God. Tim,
Humble down, Tim.
Since
Humble
you
down.
are here, you want to cut the promo?
What the hell? Here's the rumors around here is that 2218 does let you guys have this podcast. So with that said, if you're able to donate to 2218, definitely do. You can go to the website, you can go to the Facebook page.
Do it.
YouTube, all
Do
these
it.
different outlets, and just if you're able to donate, please do it. It does go to the club, and it helps quite a bit.
Big time.
Wow. Great host already.
Right. So also 2218 has its third annual Ride for Recovery last Saturday in June, and it's going to be a huge event. If you're not a motorcycle rider, just come on down at 1:30 and, pop on down to the club if you want to help or you want to know how you can help, or you can get at me in my...
That's right. Pop on down.
Yep. In my inbox at Tad Ackerman on Facebook. Otherwise, my email address is also tadackerman1@gmail. So, or you can hit up the Elno Club.
Hit him up.
Yep. And Tim, when he's back next week, he'll give his info for you. Also in July, the first annual rap battle and dance will be going on July 24th.
Hip Hop McGee, baby.
Hopefully, we won't have to do any more rapping tonight, but to be determined.
It's just starting.
Rob, do you have anything you want to announce going on in the community or anything?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
If I did, I probably already forgot it by now. So we're all right. We're good.
Rob likes puppies, so that's an announcement.
It's official. Yeah.
Hey, without further ado, then let's frickin' chop it up.
All right, chop it up.
You know what? Before you guys chop this up, I just want you to let the audience know that this is interactive, and that if they are so inclined to, definitely send some questions in throughout the show.
Just not for me.
We'll try to answer them. Tonight, we're just solo. The four of us are here. Eric did get us jumped off, but our producer is out tonight.
Free
and
balling.
We're taking care of it. And you know what? Smash the like button and share this.
Smash it.
Share it with anyone you think could benefit to hear about some recovery.
Kind of
tonight.
looks like Murdoch is manning the computer because he's closest, and he kind of looks like he's been supposed to do it his whole life anyway.
Yeah, it's your calling, bro.
Yeah.
It's
We got
it's
you.
the glasses.
Yeah. I got to get some glasses, man. Speaking of which, like, honestly.
You're going blind?
I just think I should get glasses because I've been clean for so long.
It'll make
Honestly, like, I
it'll
think
make
after-
you look more approachable.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably look a lot smarter too. And be like, oh wow,
Glasses
he's
aren't gonna
really
do that.
he really turned his life around. He's got glasses. That's probably how it would go. You know what I mean? At least
there
that's
is
what I
some-
think. So
You know what? I do agree with you.
no, I don't want your glasses, bro.
just wanted
You know,
to see
you
you with
just
them
look
on.
weird without them. I want my own. So
People
I just,
think I
you know.
look crazy or angry when I take them off. It's because I'm
You look
squinting 'cause
crazy
I
or
can't
angry
see.
anyways. Don't worry about it. We're in the same boat. It's all right.
Yeah,
Chop it up. I bet you everybody heard that too. Tim's over here like, chop it up, chop it up.
Dude, we got some pushy guests on here today.
Hey, go.
Hey,
set-
I'm a hope dealer.
Hey.
That's just what you're gonna get with a
Go-
Minnesota hope dealer.
Let's go set that chair up in the corner, and Tim can take a time out and stare at the
With
stare
a
at the
dunce
corner.
cap?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
We got a question and it is for Rob.
Oh man, come on, man! I told y'all not to ask me no questions. I didn't do it.
Rob, how do you
How
feel
do you
about
feel?
dating newcomers? Just kidding, love you. That comes from a friend of yours.
Wait, and let me see who is it?
Wow.
Who is it?
Rob,
Yeah, I
go
think
ahead and answer the question.
Well, I think it's a terrible idea, and if you fuck with a newcomer, you're gonna have newcomer problems.
Like
You know?
syphilis?
No, I don't know.
That's a burning desire.
Hopefully not. But I mean, on the flip side of that, maybe they can get some recovery out of it. That newcomer that we're speaking about. So, and a moment of silence. Good question. Thank you for that.
And it sounds like
hey, guess what?
Sounds like Matt's going to be here in 40.
This is what I say to everybody too. People don't forget. Here we are, 3 years later. Hey, you gotta,
Right. Matt S. is going to be here?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Matt.
So, I mean, and like, without going into too much detail, not that I dated a newcomer, but I talked to a girl who my sponsor knew for a day, and we were like dated and broke up for a day. And like, I went insane. I broke up with my sponsor. I quit all my surf. And like, me and Rob were fighting. Rob had no idea. When I told him, he just basically gave me a hug. I was like, I love you, dude, but that was all in your head. I wish you would have talked to me.
Right.
So, like, I mean, well, you might be embarrassed or something. Talk to your sponsors and your friends, because they're gonna be the one to talk you down the edge when you think you did something, even if you didn't do anything other than say hi to a pretty girl, because we get in our heads.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. And we're chopping it up. I'm just waiting for
chop it up.
All right,
We're the guests. We don't really talk till you guys ask
You
us
already
questions.
did, man. Don't even start with that, dude.
Murdoch.
Yes.
What would you like to talk about tonight?
Well, I was thinking about it, and like, I mean, one of the crucial aspects of my recovery has been humility, and like learning to fucking, be willing to admit my mistakes, learn from my mistakes. Unless I'm willing to admit them, I don't really learn from them. And like, a big part of this whole transition is, for me, is trying to learn how to live in a sustainable way.
Boom.
And a big part of that has been being, it ties into gratitude, it ties into vulnerability, it ties into so much stuff for me living in a sustainable life, and like humility. It's something I strive for. So
Most definitely.
Humility, yes.
So what? Let's switch gears here. So what?
Switch
What do
gears.
you think? What do you think that? What is your definition of humility?
Oh shit. I guess I haven't put words on it.
That's kind of why I asked, because like I don't really put words
yeah.
on it either. I was like, well,
Yeah,
maybe he's got here's something different.
Come back to me on that one.
You know what?
I can't promise that. I will
You know
probably
what?
forget.
Here you go, real quick. This is what our
web
good
search.
friend Mr. Dictionary calls
Yeah,
it.
web
It's
search.
humility, a modest, and this is a good. This does
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
give us the words to it. Is a modest or low view of one's own importance, humbleness.
Yeah, I like that.
Like,
I like that.
Come on. It doesn't get much more clear than that.
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to put that in. We can talk about our experiences with humility, but to put it into some defined words is kind of hard sometimes when it comes to that. But
What you've talked about struggling with being the center of attention on this show before, and personally with me. So like, what?
I just did. I
Yeah,
just literally
what-
did
what
this
is-
last week.
I know what
That's
does
good, then shut the fuck up,
what
Tim.
does why is humility a big part in your life, and why is it necessary, Tim?
I've had two different incidences this week with real humility. One was with a guy, an older gentleman who I do a lot of things in recovery with. He came to me on our way to, we were going to do something, and he had a hard conversation with me. It was another
Hard.
one. It's like. Rob's good at making it a good like.
I'll make it weird.
These right there. Yep, those.
make it weird.
So, basically, this grown man's gonna tell me like, "Look, Tim, you know what? I have to talk to you about something." And he's like, "I don't feel like you're being a man of your word." And it kind of threw me off. I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" Like, I didn't say shit. Honestly, I kind of bowed my head. Like, this is a guy I respect. We do a lot of fishing together. We do a lot of work together. Like, he's like, you really, it was basically being a man of my word. And like, he humbled the shit out of me, because everything he was saying was coming from a place, like, he talked to multiple people before approaching me because he felt hurt about this. Like, he's like, you said you'd be here at this time. You didn't show up at this time. Like, I wasn't being a man of my word on things like old addict behavior type stuff. And you want to talk about being humbled. It was something where basically, and he addressed it after the fact. He's like, when we talked about the conversation, after we were done talking and we kind of hashed it all out. Like, he was right about everything he was saying. I was overbooking myself with things.
Yeah.
And like
I'm guilty too.
And I assume, and
Me
he
too.
and
I
he
forget.
pointed that out to me. He's like, I feel like you're overbooking yourself because I got 3-4 jobs, and he thought, he's like, did I do something to you? That's how he felt. He emotionally
Well,
felt
that's-
hurt. But he's like, Tim, I feel like you're doing this, and like, I know you're trying to change and be a man of your word, but. And at the end of the day, I look back at what that situation was, and it's like I was so close with him. I felt, oh, he'll understand. But I neglected to call and tell him these things, like, all right, hey, I'm going to be an hour late. So it was like
You've been getting a lot of that lately, huh?
overbooking myself, and that's not
I-
an excuse, but
I
that's
came
what's
to you.
going on.
I came to you and said I felt like we weren't friends
You,
anymore.
and what did I do in the following week ahead? Every
He
day,
made sure
I-
to overbook himself again. No,
No, he called me.
I reached out,
I'm just
and,
kidding.
and
I'm
I'm
just
trying.
kidding.
No, I'm trying to change with things like that, but it's like.
I'm just teasing, bro.
In this thing of recovery we're doing, it's the people that are around me. Whose phone is that? We got to turn that down. What this thing in recovery is like, I try to surround myself with people like that will call me out and help me grow, because otherwise I keep on this path of thinking it's okay to not be a man. Not that I didn't even notice I wasn't being a man of my word. I don't want to be like that. That's the old junkie Tim. Like, I would tell everyone else in my life, hey, I'll be here, or I'll do this, or sure, yes, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes, knowing I had to go see that dude down there and take care of me first. Like, that's what I did all the time. And I've worked real hard in these last 3+ years not to be like that.
So, well, here's the deal, though, is that, like, is it that, or, you know, is it more or less like you're able to show up for things, and, you know, like, for me, it's like, if I overbook or double book or however you want to put it, it's just more or less like I don't know how to maintain my schedule, because I never had a schedule. Like, my life was get high, and get high.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's like we come into recovery, and it's like, you know, especially when you become a part of, you got this to go to, you got that to go to, you got this to go to, and like, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, my Saturdays, dude,
and then-
are just insane. You know what
And
I
then
mean?
like
all
maybe
the time.
gym, sponsees.
Yeah, gym,
You
sponsees,
got these
you know?
commitments with this meeting or
Definitely.
an Alno club.
So I mean, sometimes you
gets
just got to give
nuts.
yourself a break. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
And we're taught to not say no. So and then,
I'm learning to these days, though. I'll
Right,
tell you
right.
what, man.
And it gets even harder because then you have your boundaries, right? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden something you really want to do comes up,
Yeah.
and you're like, so yes.
Oh
Right.
yeah, and then you put these people that in my mind,
you
Bob
forget.
hit it on the head when he said this. He was like, Tim, I put an expectation on our friendship, and then all of a sudden it wasn't met, and then these emotions come into play. We're emotional people. Don't
Oh,
get it
yeah.
wong. Like,
Don't get it twisted, man.
yeah,
Don't
we
get
got
it
a bunch of
twisted.
questions already came in, but to what Rob was saying, like, and I know they're listening. I had someone buy me a planner.
Me
Like,
too.
and this
I
is
haven't used it, though.
Like, I have it
use
in my dashboard.
my phone calendar.
Like,
and
I-
my life has gotten easier. When
I showed you my
I
planner.
still try mine, too, and mine
And
still, I still,
when
I
if
still
it's
screw it
not
up.
in my calendar and it doesn't pop up, I it's a 50-50
It's-
shot
yes.
if I'm going to do
Dude,
it.
I've got a planner, like a paper planner.
Yeah.
I've got my phone, and I'll tell you what, I still fall short.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the
You know what I
thing.
mean? Like,
it's like recovery. It's almost like recovery. I come into these situations, and as long as I remember these tools I've been given, as long as I remember to apply them at these situations in my life, then things go smoothly. Just like if I remember to use that planner, I don't fall short on these commitments I make. It's the same thing. I just got to remember to use them.
Right, exactly.
Got to remember to use those 3 planners. Like my mom said, here's a planner, Tim. Use it. And where'd you see it, Tad? In my dashboard, right in front of me all day long.
It looked like it was accessible to you.
I make sure it is.
And I would just say, like, even if we don't use it much, like most of the tools we get in life and recovery, it's accessible to us and it's up to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You know, your sponsor, your friends, they can tell you need to use this planner all you want, but it's up to you to ultimately use it.
There's really no excuse. No. I mean, being clean, having a computer in our hand all day long.
Right, exactly.
Like you said, you have a paper
So,
one,
Joa,
phone.
always, during, before, and after. He asked if we had energy drinks.
Oh, he
Yeah.
knows I'm all right.
I,
Plus, we had some
Actually,
cream.
I only had one.
Put one right in front of me when I sat down.
Mine is already gone. Mine is already
we
gone.
had some Korean coffee earlier.
I got a
too.
few
Like-
in front of me right now.
Like Joe, we had some Vietnamese coffee.
So I'm gonna read Samantha Peterson's
go ahead.
Samantha's comment. Sorry, Samantha. When you think of recovery, at least for me, Rob is the image of someone working a solid program who owns up to his wrongs and does as much as he can, even after the people walk all over him. Love you, Rob.
I love you too, Samantha.
What do you think? So I know we kiss your ass a lot on this show.
Oh God, you guys just kill me with that.
I know. So what is that? I know, and you and I talked about it.
Check this out. So this kind of goes into what Murdoch's talking about, about being humble and stuff. It's like I go to these things and like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, I love it when people like, are acknowledge like the things that I do, but it's also like at the same time I do it just to do it, and because that's what I've been taught as a program of recovery. You know what I'm saying? So like when I hear it, I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to be that guy that's like all over Facebook like, oh, look at all the spiritual stuff I'm doing. I'm going to this and I help this person and I help that person. Man, shut the fuck up, man. Go help somebody, man, without nobody looking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't all about how looking
That's
good
integrity.
on Facebook.
That's
you know
integrity.
what I'm saying, man? I get irritated about that. But I do appreciate people showing love and stuff, but like the only like anytime that I do help somebody, man, like the only thing that I ask for is like, look, go find somebody else to help. That's it. Like I don't need a acknowledgement. I don't need a pat on the back. I mean, I love it and I do appreciate it, but at the same time it's like I just want other people to help other people, because at the end of the day somebody helped me, and I mean, realistically, like, to me, it's not a big deal. Like, it's really not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, especially like, my friends, like, like my circle.
Your friends love you.
Oh, and I love my friends, So it's like, if they're like, if it's 2 a.m, man, and I get a phone call and they're like, hey, look, I need you to come over here right now. Like, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just because it ain't really nothing, man. Like, my level of love for my friends is like, it's reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, if you're, especially if you're reciprocating it, man, you know what I mean? There probably isn't much I wouldn't do. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of things, and we're addicts, and we could come up with something real goofy to say right now, like, "Oh yeah, would you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe."
Would you be on a podcast 3 times in a month?
Yeah, absolutely, yes, absolutely, I would do that. So it's like but I mean, there's so many people doing some awesome things in this recovery community, man, and I just like to see people do it just to do it.
You're a huge supporter of people. Like
absolutely, man. I'm like, dude, like to figure out where we came from to this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's dude, I was just sharing about this at the meeting tonight that like, it's a miracle of like the things that you can accomplish in recovery. I've seen some real miracles that have like you just came out of the dirt. And like, they might have glasses and a suit. Who knows? Who knows? But I mean,
Glasses.
I know. I got to throw in the glasses for some reason. I just
He's
think
on
that
glasses. We need to get Rob some glasses.
I might need some glasses. Yes,
You can wear with your eye candy shirt.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Here we go with that again. But I lost my train of thought.
So I got a question. And I'm going to shoot it over to Murdoch. Do you find yourself slipping, and what do you do when you find yourself wanting to use or getting in your head? What healthy coping skills do you use to combat those feelings?
I mean, we can slip in all different directions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the whole idea for me of like a clean community of people around me is to provide some kind of foundation. But there's some days that I find it difficult to formulate a gratitude, things that I'm grateful for in my head, even though I have so much. But I think really the best, what I do, and I don't know if it's healthy, is like when I got clean, I accepted that I was going to slip and that I was going to fucking be exposed to emotions and feelings that I didn't know how to deal with.
Yeah, icky.
You know what I'm saying?
Icky,
and
yeah.
like, the best thing I can do is communicate that to people. And sometimes that's all I can do, is try to communicate it to people and make a commitment to myself that no matter what, I'm not going to use. You know what I'm saying? And a big part of that, like, I only passed through Minnesota for most of my life, so I have a vicious amount of like love and understanding for people that are getting clean in the places where they got fucking high. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's bananas. Like, someone that's staying with us ended up staying there because they were in a sober house 2 blocks away from where they used to cop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
where I
like
was at
fucking
when I
that's
went to
rowdy.
treatment. Yeah.
That's hardcore. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I think I made a real solid commitment that I was not gonna get high, and I was like honest with myself. I mean, I said to myself that I didn't want to get high before, but when I got clean, I was honest that there was no longer anything in that life that I wanted to return to. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you guys, if you guys, like this, I haven't relapsed since I got clean, but I've gone in and out of jail. I fucking done all sorts of scenarios where I was clean for a certain period of time and I thought I could do it different. I had that experience, you know what I'm saying? And I came to a point where I know I couldn't do it. I know I can't do it differently. And like, I'm either gonna fucking
Fix, manage, and
shit or
control.
get off the pot, man. And like, there is no going back for me. You know what I'm saying? I'll die before I go back. And I'm not saying that like arrogantly. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm saying
Factually.
that
You
life,
made a decision.
I made a
You
decision.
made the decision. You know
no
what I'm
matter
saying?
what.
Yep.
And like when I first got clean, that
I get
meant
that.
laying in the fetal position in my bed sometimes, you know what I'm saying, for a day or two.
I've been
Because I
there.
had nothing else to do but to grip my ankles.
Right.
And like curl up. And like, but I do believe, like, I was very apprehensive of coming on the show because it's rare that I have a conversation with someone for more than 10 minutes. I'm not the most vocal person, you know what I'm saying? But like, communicating with people, and it doesn't always make you feel better. Like having realistic
True that.
expectations. Just because you talk to someone, just because you reach out to someone, doesn't mean it's going to make you feel better.
Right.
When I came in here, I thought NA would fix me. But ain't nobody going to fix me except for myself.
Right.
No one has that
Yeah.
power.
Right.
Like all this community, all these people.
HP maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay,
you're
higher,
HP.
but
Yeah, maybe, but-
Okay, yeah.
But I get what you
It
mean.
depends,
I get what
you know what I'm
mean.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I feel even with the power of a higher power, that it's you channeling that power.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's you making a conscious choice to accept it
Right,
into
right.
you. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
And like, and so, I don't really know. It's different for everybody because everybody needs different things depending on where they're at. But like, staying strong, communicating with people. Like you might not get what you need from one person, but at some point you're gonna get what you need, and kind of like fucking, it's dope, man. Like Tim was talking about before, time. I suck at time management. You know what I'm saying? I'm
You
fucking
don't say.
terrible at it. But and it's not because I don't want to be where I say I'm gonna
Right.
be. It's because I just get distracted in what
Right.
I'm doing,
Right.
and then I just.
Squirrel.
But like the point is that like
get it.
I know inside of myself, whether it's time management or whether it's fucking depression or whether it's fucking loneliness, whatever
Only
it is,
you will know that.
I have to ask or find solutions. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And it depends on where I'm at and what it is. But like, I have to choose to not use, and then I have to choose to try to learn how to get through it, because there is a solution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing I learned, man, is like there is a solution somewhere.
And it's not using.
And
you
it's
know?
not using.
Imagine that. Who would have thought? You know, that was something that like I still get confused with, right? Because especially if it's something that like I'm not used to dealing with. You know, like if it's something new that I haven't went through in my recovery, still my first instinct, well, get high. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I don't do that anymore. Like honestly, that'll still pop up. That'll still be like the first thing
Yeah.
that pops in my head, and it's like, dude, it's been 5 years, and then I put this expectation on myself that like I shouldn't think like that. But that's not reality. At least not for me. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing is that the things that I do go through, that I've watched other people go through, like I know that there is a solution. You know what I mean? But like still, man, I'll tell you what, man, something new. I'm like, oh, well, just use over it. Oh, that's right. I don't do that anymore. You know, like instant.
Yeah.
There's always
You
gonna
want
be
to
that
put
part of me.
something on it.
Always, there's always
I-
going to be that part of me that's just,
So-
at least so far, anyways, in my experience. You know,
And like, so I consider myself of having basically 2 sponsors my whole life. There was another guy who passed away, so 3. But like you and my friend Jason, who's on the show, and you guys both talk about it. So you word it differently. You talk about what you say. I got to put something on it, and
Right.
anytime I do that, it's hard. And he says, anytime so I'll just explain it for me. Anytime Tad has to use something to get out of Tad to try and fix myself, that's not within me or my higher power. It's not going to work.
Right. It's only gonna make it worse.
Yeah, and
And that's always our solution too. Is we always want to put something on it. We think it's gonna help, and then it's worse. And then after it makes it worse, you're like, man, I knew I shouldn't have done that. But you did it anyways.
And it's
that's the disease of addiction right there. You did it anyways.
Looking back, we've all been in the rooms for a while now, in and out. Yeah, and we're not the young guys anymore. We're not. So we have a little different.
Especially Tim. Sorry, I had to.
Whoa, shots fired.
I'm the oldest one here, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Are
I
you?
think so. How old are you,
You're
Murdoch?
35.
You're 35?
Yeah.
Is Murdoch the youngest one
I
here?
think so, yeah. Murdoch's the
shit.
youngest, yeah.
Yeah, Murdoch, you're the baby.
Hey.
Hey.
He says, hey, that was so calming. Hey, hey, what's up, man?
Yes, I am young. You old.
I'm 39.
You just turned 40.
Yeah, whatever. 39.
It's okay.
You just turned 42, didn't you?
Just shut the fuck up.
Damn, Rob. So
Couple
I
of
was going to
months.
say, so it's funny because you said that, but Tim and I are two of the guys you talk to the most.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's funny how we think in relations because me and you have 10-minute, 15-minute conversations.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of who I am. I think that you do that with everyone else, but I watch you. You don't.
Well, unless I'm cornered.
Right. Yeah. I've seen that before. I've seen you get cornered.
I appreciate if someone has something to say, I'm happy to listen. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's a big part of it. Just because I don't talk a lot. Well, maybe I shouldn't put a time constraint on it, but I just don't talk a lot. And if someone has something to say, I'm happy to listen, man, because that's what it's all about, dude. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's been times where someone needed to talk, where I needed to talk, and all I needed to hear was hey, man,
I'm here for you.
look at it this way. I'm here for you. Here's another way to look at it, and just go about.
Here's something else that I wanted to add to that. Murdoch, you may not talk much, but when you do talk, I'm
yeah,
dude,
that's where I was.
There's
Right.
almost every time that you say something, man, I get something from
Yes.
him, man, and I'm like, wow, man, I didn't even think of that. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
why-
So, really,
yes.
man, I think that
You
when you
mean
do
what you
talk,
say.
it's just man, I
That's
always
what-
get something out of it.
That's
and I think
100%.
makes me think differently.
Why
you know?
I was so adamant, this. Then I said mystery guest until I wanted to make sure it was locked down. I got into recovery a little over 3 years ago. I was going to another meeting that's no longer around. Okay, it was at the facility where I did my inpatient.
I remember that place.
Yeah, we all do, and I believe you were there. Too.
Andrea, you remember that place too?
But the thing is I knew, and I didn't know this until here at 2218 and getting to know Murdoch. But I saw Murdoch back at this other meeting, right? Or it was at AFL. It's no longer around, so I can talk about it. And he would show up, but in my eyes, I saw him oh, there goes the rock star. I didn't know you. No, but it's this. No, serious, Murdoch. I don't think we've even had this conversation, and I was saving it for the show. But so it's not
The elements of surprise.
It's not putting you on the spot, but what it is I had this persona of you, but now I got to know you. It's I know why. You didn't talk. You would come in. People would all even at Young. People come up to you and oh, there's Murdoch. You pop in. You'd share something, and like Rob's saying, when you'd share it, it was profound, but it was you didn't share unless it was something that needed to be said that was going to help you in your recovery. But it reflected in early recovery. I mean, still as an inpatient, I remember you shared, and it was it blew me away. And I didn't see you through COVID or whatever. And then we got to hear, and I started to get to know you, and I'm like, okay, he's just another addict like us. Yeah. But over at that other meeting, it's I never got to meet you, but I knew you, and you would share, and like Rob's saying, it blew my wig back when you would share. But I said, with seeing you as a rock star, that's the wrong thing. It was I was sharing, I think with Tad, I was yeah, in my mind he was untouchable. I couldn't even get around Murdoch. I wasn't part of the cool crowd, but that's the persona, and that was no, it has nothing to do with Murdoch alone.
Awkward.
This was the reason why I walked away from
him an
NA,
autograph?
stuff like that, because I put this expectation on the meeting itself, and oh, there's this cliquey and all this and that. But I walked away from NA, and that was my own problem. Like, I went to another fellowship, came back, and realized, like, that had nothing to do with anyone but myself.
I'm an addict.
Yeah, no.
Jeez, I'm an addict. What do you know?
But that was
Right.
the lesson I learned. But it was all that, like,
I get that.
I put this big old, like, I put this big symbol on something, and I disappeared because I wasn't willing to grow, or I wasn't spiritually fit yet. Whatever the case is, like, it was something I wanted, but I couldn't just get that instant gratification, so I left. Like, I took my ball and went home.
So
We got a question.
yeah, let's switch gears here.
No,
see the
I
question?
want to talk about Murdoch some more.
Excuse me, guest. Can you please call me?
Yeah.
Rob, choke him out with your big 75-inch biceps.
Jesus.
Okay, so let's shoot this question to Tim and then to Murdoch.
Timmy.
Timmy, what is your daily prayer and meditation look like in your life?
When it depends on what time of year it is. If it's in the summer, it's out in the boat. If it's right now, it's like nature stuff. Like where I can really say there's anything to do with prayer or meditation, it has to do with some form, like a bonfire.
Those are great. Yeah.
So it's not so much as sitting with a book, or I would like that to be part of it, but a meditation, I really haven't gotten that down yet. How to like meditate. Someone explained meditation to me is like being silent and emptying your mind. Like I can't do that yet. I've tried.
Well, it's.
And,
sorry. I'm
prayer and
My
prayer,
bad.
like prayer. I've tried. Like I pray. I say a lot of things where I'm asking for help from someone else in my head, or asking for something to occur from someone else that's greater than myself a lot. But for like my serenity, and what helps me most in my serenity and like my recovery, it has to do with like nature, I guess. Being in a boat watching the sun, like you look at the pictures I got on my phone, it's all like an AA sponsor said to me once, he's like, if you have any issue with like believing in a higher power or a God, watch a sunset, go look at the stars, go look at like the mountaintops, like something beautiful out there, because there's plenty of shit that's beautiful out in nature. And
mountain goat.
And basically, that's your tattoos, dude. And
goat.
like, if you have a question, look at that, and that can, for me, it made sense. Like, you look at that and ask yourself, like that was created by something greater than yourself. And I get serenity out of that. Like, that helps me in my peace, I guess, is a way to put it. Or I go to work.
What?
Boom.
And I hear it
work.
before we
Build.
flip it over to Murdoch, because I'm going to
Working
ask
for
him this
suckers.
question. Did you hear that? Rob, go ahead and tell him that again.
Working is for suckers.
So Rob's a construction worker, and he's in the laid-off season, and that's his motto during the laid-off season, no matter what you say.
It's not what my bank account says.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mama.
yeah,
Hey,
it
Mama
does.
Jane. Mama Jane says she's got the fire pit going when I got home from 2218 tonight. Tim, you want to just tell them about the Gratitude Cafe quick?
Tonight, on Fridays. It's Fridays now.
Yep.
$5. You can come get your belly
$5.
filled with some love, with food that's made by
Love.
It's made downstairs and it's excellent. Like you're getting
It's
a
love.
full plate of food, a dessert.
How's
you're
that
getting
food, Rob?
coffee.
You've eaten
They
it.
do that here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
$5.
$5
$5
on Fridays.
player. $5.
Yeah, it starts at 5, like 5 to 6. You
It
can come a
is.
little early for the
sweet.
meeting and eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some
Rob,
recovery
how's the food?
afterwards. It's good. It's good. I approve. It's official.
She makes these biscuits and gravy from
Biscuits.
scratch, like old Southern gravy. It's fire. You're going home full for $5. You're not gonna beat it. It's,
Mama Jane has done a lot for a lot of people. Like, she's been a big part of my recovery. So I'm just gonna read something because I wanted to say it, but I couldn't remember. So it said, I've heard it said, and Matt, our buddy Matt, said this in the comments. Prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening. That's
Yeah, listening. I was gonna say that. That's what I was gonna say. And then
Me too, but
then I realized I was interrupting him, and I was like, "Well, that's just me being rude again." So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
But
basically, that's
in
my
when you
perception
have biceps as big as you can interrupt people. Rob.
Jesus.
I pick tougher. Nothing.
Okay.
You picked
So,
tough-
Murdoch,
I pick
Crumbs
tougher
out of your butt.
tougher
Crumbs out of
crumbs
your
and
butt?
crap out of.
Anyways,
Who said I was tough, man? What the
yeah, I never said he was tough. I just said he's
That's
buff.
okay.
Tim's just saying that.
Yeah, I'm saying you're
You
buff.
did. You
not
just
I
said
said
tough.
I picked tougher,
You implied
tougher
it.
pieces of
You
crap
implied
out
it.
of, Oh.
Yeah,
I
Rob.
still
implied
implied
it.
it. I don't
People
think I'm
can't
tough.
see that, though. We're on microphones.
Yeah, I know.
They can hear how ripped he is.
Dear God. You're fucking stupid.
So Murdoch, what what does your daily prayer and meditation look like in your life?
Well, every day looks different, and like I definitely get I am what I would call agnostic and like a secular Taoist maybe. So Taoists believe that we as people, we're part of nature, and the further away we get from, it's about being fluid and natural and working with your surroundings. Anyway, so I have always looked at prayer as like wishes for other people and the world around you. You know what I mean? And like meditation and connecting with yourself kind of deal. And like, I try to live my prayer. Like I try to be supportive of people and hope they're best for them always.
Try.
Try.
Yeah, try.
It takes a lot of work.
It can be difficult.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and
The only reason I say that is because in my own experience.
Right,
I'm not
right.
talking about you,
Yeah,
Murdoch. I'm
yeah,
talking about me.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it takes a lot of work for me.
I have
you
good
know?
days where I hang out all
Like-
day, and I feel spiritually fit, and there's other days where I
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pray or
I want to
meditate
kick somebody
on
out the
something
fucking window some days. You know what I mean?
And it's hard for me to
say
be
one
like-
more word. Say one more word.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be like, you know what? I feel homicidal right now, and
That's a
you know what?
burning
I'm
desire,
gonna go and
Yeah.
meditate and pray for this guy.
Right. God, I wish that was the first thing I thought about.
Right.
How much easier my life would be if it was just like, that was my first thought. Maybe that's something I want to strive for in the future. That like instead of like me just thinking of ripping somebody's head off, I'm gonna pray for him. You know what I mean? Like that is not my first
And,
thought, and that
yeah.
sucks because like it really wears on you when like when you're just feel that inner rage. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And it's
I
like,
do.
I can't stand it. You know what I mean? I hate that.
Murder-
Because, like, when I'm feeling like that. It's like, dude, everybody knows, man, and it's like my whole being, man, and I hate it, man, and I don't
So
want
when
it like that.
I
Because the way
don't
look
see
at
you
it-
as that. So when I see you acting like that, or you give me shit in like a somewhat masculine way, I get all personally offended, or I think the world's over. Like I think something's happening with you because I just know you as this nice, like because I see you in a different way.
Right.
And so like the first time we were joking, and you were like, "I'm gonna punch you in the face if you keep giving me shit." Like I was like, Rob's off the rails.
I legitimately wanted to punch you in the face, bro. Like,
And then the same thing that you were bugging that I bugged you with, I watched you do to like 8 other people. And I'm like,
no,
yeah.
I turned it right back around on you, is what I did.
Yeah. Anyways.
In
But-
a very passive aggressive manner.
Yeah,
To
super-
be specific.
oh yeah, you were super passive.
But
Heavy on the aggressive, but
yeah, well, whatever. What do you do, man? It's a work in progress. Like I
Less
said,
pre-workout.
I gotta
Just
try.
kidding.
I gotta try.
Yeah.
No, like legitimately, I gotta try, man. Because
So-
it's really hard to like. Because that's not what I was taught, and like, and I know it sounds like a stupid excuse, but it's like it's still very hard to unlearn that behavior.
Oh, I get it.
Especially like my dad always said, like nothing means nothing, and that was something that like I grew up believing. Nothing means nothing. So man, ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like it's. I know when I say it to people, they're like, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, it just means that nothing means nothing. But it was like that's at like my core.
Don't take
you know what I'm
anything
saying?
too serious.
And it's like, yeah, well, and that's what I'm learning is that like the more stuff that I take serious or personal, the further away from like recovery I get.
The more
You know
I
what
take
mean?
myself
Sure.
serious.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
and especially when I take something personal, and it's like,
Yeah.
I love them days where it's like, man, everything can just roll right off my shoulder, man. It ain't nothing.
I
You
used
know
to
what I'm
never
saying?
get those days.
I love that. I love
used to
those
not
days.
get-
Yeah, I know, me too, man.
So like,
I never got
if
those
I take
years,
one
man.
or two things personal, but then I get hard on myself when I take
Right.
things per-
You shouldn't be like this. A lot of times we put expectations on our recovery. You shouldn't be like this.
I'm
You
on the
shouldn't-
board. I do all that. I can't behave like that. And,
Right.
And now my sponsor is going to disown me, and we're fighting. and
That was still ridiculous. I was like, wow, okay, man.
I didn't even know we were fighting.
I
yeah,
can tell
it
when I'm driving. Like if I'm driving and I'm getting pissed off, like for no reason or just
Right.
getting real
That's
short fused and
Your
stuff. Like
spiritual condition.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Like I can tell there's something more going on. Like when I'm with family or like my mom or my brother or just even friends, like, and I might not argue with them, but I'll get off the phone and just be like pissed off for a few minutes, and there's really no reason for it. Like, there's something with me I need to be doing differently or working on something different with me, whether it's hit another meeting or, you know what a good one is, and I just always forget to do it, is work with someone else. Like reach out and just pick the phone up, and whether I just got off the phone being pissed off about whatever someone else was just talking to me about, like, call someone in early recovery. Mm-hmm. It's easy to just be like, so how are things going? Yeah. Like are you digging the new meeting? Like, I've been doing that kind of, like, not unknowingly, but like there's a few people now they got like 6-7 months, but for the first 3 months, like, I made a conscious effort to make sure to just, even if it's just a text, and I don't like texting that much. Yeah, I can't. But when I do the little talk to text, so they come out like 5 paragraphs long. Yeah, I've read quite a few of them. Pickle Rick, and it's like that helps me because sometimes I always share about, like, sometimes I kind of feel selfish because it's not that I'm striving in their misery, but it's so many facets of them talking about their struggles, and like I remember them struggles. Like, they're so minor now, and they're so easy to work through. But to hear that, and then I can maybe give a suggestion or just listen. Like, you know how nice it is to have someone listening when you're struggling. Like, whether it's just to go meet someone at a pool hall and hear the shit they're going through. No, I mean, seriously, like something like that. Like, to be able to do that now and really care about the situation instead of just being somewhat selfish about it in the long run.
I think the hardest part is, like,
we got about 3 questions.
When especially like if I'm real in a fucked up place, man, and I got that internal rage going on, it is so hard for me to listen to somebody else's problems, and I can't stand it because, like, I know that this is what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? When I'm really struggling, I'll do that, and I'll reach out, and I'm trying to listen, and I'm trying, and I know that's like more times than not, the best way to get out of yourself is to help somebody else.
Right.
And like finally that moment, like when you actually get that breakthrough, when you're invested in their stuff, and you actually, it's just like, I finally got rid of that, at least just for a brief freaking moment.
Yes. I forget.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like,
those few seconds of
I forget when I do that.
Yeah. Well, it's not gone, but you know what I mean? You're not thinking about it. It's not consuming you. That's just the best, when it's not consuming you.
I help other people or get bogged down with a bunch of stuff, and I forget that I still have to deal with my problem.
Right.
Yeah. And then I get busy.
So there's kind of this like balancing line that you got to find.
And you know that.
And it'll take some time, I'll bet.
Like,
you know what I mean?
I borderline have a service work addiction problem. And we all know that. Like, it's turned into an addiction at different stages. And like, I have to balance time for Tad, time for my sponsees, time for my positions here, time for this, time to spend with my sponsor, and time for friendship stuff.
Right. Well, and there's also
when you met me, I wasn't. Yeah, when you
for you, because like the same thing is just like
when you met me, I wasn't hanging out and doing fun stuff with friends.
Well, it's almost like you know, I mean, especially early in, like, you know, when a lot of people come into recovery, it's like, you know, we jump into a relationship, you know, and then like we just focus on them.
Yeah,
and then
but
then you see them, like the relationship's over, and then they're using again. Yeah. You know, because of the fact
that was like, the one thing I was grateful for.
But the thing is that like we don't take enough time to like sit and be by ourselves.
You're right. Yeah.
And that is like one of the hardest things for me, man, is to sit alone by myself and listen to my own shit.
I don't like it still.
You know? Man, that's when I know I'm doing good in recovery. Is like when I'm not like, oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. When I can actually just sit at home, you know, and just hang out and just enjoy my own company. Because a lot of times that's why I use it. I wanted to get away from myself. So a lot of times in recovery, man, it's like, am I doing this for recovery, or am I doing this because I want to get away from myself?
Ted said that earlier. He was like, his sponsor explained to him, like, if you do something to get outside of your own feelings with a substance, that's use. Like, whatever it is.
Or putting something. Rob and Jason say it.
Yes.
Rob and Jason are talking about the exact same thing, but they say it differently in verbiage.
Right.
But I do want to say, hold on, I would say, because just to finish about meditation, like, and that dude, because I don't know if, but like, I don't think meditation only exists with like you sitting still with your mind empty.
I agree with that.
You know, and like some of my most meditative moments, it can be cleaning. It can be, you know, I got some raised beds riding my motorcycle, working, like these
I
moments.
go for walks with music on, and that's how I meditate.
Damn, that used to be my favorite part in early recovery. I loved taking the bus because I would leave a meeting, I would put my headphones in, and I would just focus on my thoughts and my feelings and like where it's at. And like there's meditating doesn't necessarily mean just sitting still and trying to empty your mind. You know what I mean? Like I find that some of the most peaceful things are actions that I can take where my mind empties itself and like just exists. I don't know. So just throwing that out there.
No,
Right
I
on.
agree with him.
We're gonna switch gears.
Switching gears.
Before we get completely different topic, what does spiritually fit mean to you, and what does that look like? Let's try it. Well, whatever. It'll go whatever. Go ahead, Murdoch.
Well, you know, that's a tough one because what it looks like to me is like when I'm you know, in a place that I'm available, like when I'm capable of being present, which is not I 100% fluctuate from spiritually fit and not. Like it's not, in my opinion.
I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate too.
Like in my opinion, it's not like a straight road. You know what I mean? And
I just thought because I got spiritually fit once that I would
Yeah.
never be psychotic and be a mess again.
Yeah.
And then when I had a mental breakdown, like when I talked to you three in this room right now about it, I was so devastated because I thought I was never going to become spiritually fit again.
yeah.
And that's just not reality.
Yeah, that's
I'm a
dope.
drug addict. I'm crazy. And all three of you in this room are like,
Right
me
there
too.
with you, dog. Yeah.
The first thing Murdoch told me is
good.
like, I would have done the exact same thing you did, Dad. So why are you tripping? Yeah. Like, and he started laughing. He's like, I'm laughing because I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And so I mean it like I first would like to say that it's not a constant feeling that it seems like some people may, but like for me it's not an attainable consistent thing. And like but being available, like being in a position to adapt and to handle what life brings my way. You know what I'm saying? Like, with that, and don't get me wrong, I have resentments, you know what I'm saying? I talk to the people about them, that's crazy. Like,
Right.
hey, sit down and talk to someone
Right.
like this, I want to talk to you, I got this fucking resentment. And it's like, and you know what I
You
mean?
remember the
Like,
first time you did that?
Oh my
you know,
God.
it's like it's because somebody
Bananas.
told me to do this that I'm doing this, and it's like you're doing it. And you're just looking at him like I should be punching you right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you're like,
I do,
so I'm
100%.
resentful towards you because you did this. But then after time, it just becomes natural. And it's
half-
like, oh,
Yeah.
what do you know? I don't even feel that way.
Half the
anymore.
time
Crazy.
it's
Give
some
him as much.
dumb shit in your head that didn't even really happen, too.
Yep. I got answers to questions that'll never be asked.
Thanks, bro. So I think that spiritually fit is like a state of being where you're fucking in a position where you know you can not only give but receive, you know, and like and yeah, I guess I'll end with that. That's about it.
You want to tackle this, too?
Oh yeah,
Mr. J?
just the way he said it's not a straight line. It made me think about like spiritually. I've been through some things in my recovery, some situations that were like they're hard, like life showed up type, real hard death, like with some real close, like family. Like I made it through a funeral service for my brother, and like not anything about crying or not anything about like breaking down, losing my shit, but like through that moment, that whole evening, I was like, I was grounded. I was aware. I was there, present for like family who was really hurting. Some people that were still struggling with addiction. People that came in from out of town. Like, I look at and then I think about how you said that, because I haven't looked at it that way. Like, it's not a fluid, straight, like, it's not one, like, Tad was worried, like, once he lost that, am I never getting it back again? But, like at that moment in time when certain situations showed up, like I always say this about my recovery is like I went through this moment in time that like I had a reservation. Like if this X, Y, or Z happens, I would use again, and X, Y, and Z
Happens, yep.
and it happened, and I made it through like
Every
without
time I put that on there,
without
those things
even
happened.
and without
Yep.
even a thought of using, I made it through this. And on top of it, I was there to comfort people. I was present. I was in the moment, thinking about the solution. Like, and that's why I don't question recovery, whether it was recovery or not. Like, I made it through this situation, and I was beyond spiritually fit. And I was in the moment, something I could have never did in my active use.
Wait. Beyond spiritually fit. What is that?
I was.
No, I'm like, whoa, that's some new stuff.
I mean, it was
He used
to the
pre-workout.
like I was as clear as I could have ever been in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I was in the moment in a situation that I could have swore that was not going to
Yeah,
be the case.
impossible.
And
Okay.
then like months after that, over stubbing my toe, I'm thinking about
Fell
using.
apart.
it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
it can happen like that.
like
You can
yeah,
go
and that's
right off
why
the square.
when Murdoch said that, like it's not a
Very
straight line.
Right.
Like no,
Yeah.
it's not. Like at one point at 10 months clean, I was more healthy than I was 2 months ago.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
the thing. I
About
think that to
About
stay
that.
spiritually fit, you have to understand that you are not going to always be spiritually
and-
fit.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like,
And it just, it made the situation made me realize what I had to work on for me.
Right.
Like that I had gotten a little, not that I was super arrogant. I was a little arrogant, but I had just, because I made that decision that we talked about earlier that I'm not going to use again. I don't want my life. Like I'd rather die than go back to use. I've made that decision, and I struggle with that too. Sometimes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm
I
like,
feel
well,
it.
then let's fucking just end it.
Yeah,
because it sucks.
Yeah, I know that feeling, man.
And
I know
and
that
it's
feeling.
really common.
You took
come to
out that
find
life insurance on your recovery, and all of a sudden, in the back of your mind, like, well, if I use it, I'm dead. Well, screw it, I'm done.
You know what? I got this podcast. I'm a board. I do all that. Everybody now knows me as the recovery guy. So I
Gang of
can't
it.
go back
yeah,
to
but
that.
you got to be careful to not let those become fucking
You're-
burdens or things.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
define
yeah,
you
they can be-
too,
they
you know
can-
what I mean? Like,
I went through
They
that
could
in
end
my
up being
first
the
year.
negative result.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could end up being the negative result
So-
of your cleanness.
And just finding out that my friends go through the same stuff that other people, and it's very common to become suicidal at a year, 2 years,
5 years.
5 years. And it's not.
Yeah, man.
And and talking about this stuff, like always, freaking talking about the crap that's going on with us with other drug addicts makes us feel better. What a bunch of shit.
I remember at my I went to a 1 year banquet for when Alano I was going to in New Hope, and like I was one of the honorees because I was getting my 1 year, and I got up on stage, and the squad I was part of, blah blah blah. Like I was being honored, and after we ate at the banquet, a bunch of different old timers were talking to me, and like 3 different ones, and I can still recall conversations like, Tim, like, you got to be careful because right now is the point of your recovery. Like, you're probably going to go relapse. Like, and in my mind, I kind of had the same thing when I got clean. I was like, I'm done now. Like, I always share about how I feel like I selfishly used until I felt I was done.
Yeah.
Like, I kept using until I was done. I share that way because it's like, I didn't quit for no one else, which I found out in the end, like, that's the only way it can work.
Yeah.
You can only stop for yourself. I was only going to make this work if I chose it.
Sure.
Legal reasons wasn't ever going to be a reason. My mommy wasn't.
Yeah.
Although I wish now looking back, like those could have been a reason I could have maybe set it down. But at the end of the day, I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But when those guys were telling me like, Tim, congratulations and all, but this is when you're going to relapse. Like I built resentments right then and there for like a few months until I think like methodically they did that because they maybe knew something I didn't at the time, but it stuck with me. I'm talking about it 3+ years later.
Yeah.
Like it stuck with me. Like I'll show you, like in a way, that's not a reason I stay clean or sober to show someone else, but it did something.
Hey, yeah, that stuff can be motivated. Like, I mean, take your motivation where you can get it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, for whatever reason, someone decides to get clean. You know what I mean? Like, spite can be a crazy motivator.
Right,
motherfucker. And if you're here to get clean and something that motivates you to stay clean longer and hear more.
Well,
hey,
just like
college, you
probation,
know what I
how
mean?
many people do we know who got clean to not go to prison and
Yeah.
they're
And
off
it's stuck.
probation?
Like,
Yeah.
it's stuck.
Like, and
They
I'm gonna
heard
look
some-
at
yeah.
like the chip on your shoulder thing. Like, well, it might start out messed up. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go to sports. Tom Brady puts
Right.
a chip on his shoulder,
Right.
every year, and 7 Super Bowls later,
You know
something
what?
unrecognizable. Michael Jordan put a chip on his shoulder. LeBron, like the top.
It is
ultra
motivators,
competitive-
whatever it is.
yeah.
I know
Yeah.
a guy in AA
They
that
find reasons
that was it.
to
He was
be-
going to show.
They find reasons to be the underdog and have a chip on their shoulder so they can get motivated.
That's what this guy I know who's now got probably like I think 8 years, and he's really involved. But he went in there. He was going to show everyone these 12 steps don't work. He shares this about his story. He's like,
I
I'm
know.
sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of my wife talking this, that, the
Yeah.
third, my parents. You know what? I'll show him it doesn't work. I'll give it my all. This dude shares about it. He went in there. I don't.
Another
and
friend
he
of mine
went through
came
the
here
12
to-
steps and came out.
Got
Now
bit.
he got bit.
I know
He
another
got bit.
I know another guy who 18 years ago came in this program and was like, I came here to catch y'all because y'all were lying. I knew you guys were getting high.
yeah.
Right, you're absolutely right. And he shares about it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And 18 years later, he ain't caught nobody that was saying, and he's been clean.
Yep.
And now he's a
Right.
huge inspiration to the community.
Big
Not-
time, man.
Not
He'll
just
be here.
in the rooms. You know, he's my mentor.
In the community.
And yeah, he's
All right. So are we on questions right now? Is that what we're doing?
yeah. Real quick, we're gonna. Yep. Yeah, we're halfway through. Real quick,
roll
me and
over this
Tim
guy
have
right
been
here.
supposed to remember to announce something for like 2 or 3 shows. I don't know how many, and we always remember not on the show. So if you are streaming us because someone shared you and someone shared, please go to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude Facebook because otherwise we can't see your
Yeah.
questions because your questions are on separate stuff. Yeah, I got that. We're
Yeah.
like 3 questions behind. But since we're talking about that, we're going to go to John's question, and then we're going to jump back to...
Who will be on our show eventually.
Yep. So is what you think, feel, and believe based on inspiration in the spirit?
You know what, Rob? Why don't you take this? You just got back from a potty break. I want to hear this. John is. Thanks, John, and thanks for being on the show right now. Thank you.
I like that.
What was the question, man? What was the question, man?
I like what he
is
did.
is what you think, feel, and believe based on inspiration in the spirit. I'm not.
What the fuck are you gonna ask me that question, man?
I love when Rob gets like that.
Man,
Is what you think based on inspiration. Is what you feel based on inspiration. Is what you believe based on any inspiration.
it depends on what day it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that depends on what day it is. You know, I mean, a lot of times it's based on experience. You know, realistically, you know, a lot of times and a lot of things, man, it's that's what it is. It's experience for me. You know, but that can also change. You know, like I said, it all depends on the day. You know, and
Right.
sometimes you know, like inspiration does influence those things. So.
Well, inspiration is kind of a strong word too. Like
Well, I think inspiration can come from anywhere too.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so.
Well, yeah.
I have a hard time thinking about that, but I mean, I was definitely inspired when I first got clean by fucking people in the room. You know what I mean? Like they
Oh, yeah.
they seem to live in a way like so I don't know.
Oh, shit.
They lived in a way that I felt I wanted to live, and like even if like Tim was saying at the beginning, it was just my idea of how they lived, how I made it in my own head.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
That was inspirational enough for me to try to learn how to do it.
Right.
Because like, you know, when I came in here, I thought like I was gonna fucking. I try to compartmentalize myself and think about like what I was gonna get rid of and what I was gonna keep. But the real part is that I am who I am.
Right.
And like I had to put energy into the parts of myself that I wanted to see flourish and take that energy from other places. And I wouldn't have been able to necessarily identify certain parts in myself unless I would have seen them in certain people. So I don't know if that was like inspiration. People and fucking, and then just knowing like my biggest inspiration is what you feel, believe, based on inspiration was remembering who I was and remembering how much I didn't want to be that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And that's really hard though in recovery when you feel like that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel like that
Word.
person and you're clean.
Yeah.
That is a ishy feeling. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you know, when
And
you
I've
start,
done it.
when you
I've
start
done
getting
it.
spiritual values and morals, and then you go back to your old ways or do something that goes against them now that maybe served you in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all of a sudden, it feels like you feel like crap, or at least I
It
do.
sucks,
Yeah.
man.
That's
feels like
kind of
I-
what happened with my situation.
Right.
I was like, dude, this is what I've always done my
It's
whole
like an
life.
emotional relapse.
It's how I
Right.
get over relationships,
Right.
and I went to that behavior, and all of a sudden I was like, this isn't. It doesn't feel the same anymore. Yeah.
Well, here's a
felt
good
like
example.
relapse.
You know what you're talking about? The guy who's he's a pillar of the community. He's out there. He shares about 18 years ago.
Yep.
Like when Murdoch shares, that to me is an inspiration. When we're in a meeting and a meeting ends up, you leave and it's like that was a great meeting.
So-
for me, it's when certain people share.
If someone
That's an inspiration.
even and for me, I can say something that's inspirational for me too is because I wouldn't have done it like that. Someone relapses, comes right back in, gets right back on it, takes suggestions, comes on the podcast.
We just
5
had a
days,
guest like that,
5
yes.
days later.
Yep.
I would have told you guys to f off.
That's an inspiration.
If you'd have asked me, gave me 5 hours notice, I would have told me.
Y'all
to F
wouldn't
off.
even have seen me, man.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like that's the deal. Like,
Or
if I
another
go-
buddy,
If
Ro-
I go out there, man,
But you never know. I mean, we don't know.
But then
what's-
again, let me say this too. Like I've purposely built the life around recovery to the fact, like if I went out there and used, I'd be by myself. You know what I'm saying? And if I use by myself, like I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So if I pick up, man, I know that like my choice is that I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Like I would really have nothing. And don't get me wrong, like I'm an addict, dude. You can put me in the middle of the fucking ocean and I'll find some drugs and I'll probably find something to do, even though I can't even swim. You know what I'm saying? Like let me put that in there too. You know what I mean? But it's like I know that like if I would end up alone in a basement. You know, and that was like the last place that I was before I got clean.
And
I
hopefully make it
remember,
out.
I remember that feeling, and I remember being alone in the basement. And it wasn't like for me, it wasn't even about like all the legal consequences and all that other shit. Like it was about me being alone in a basement,
Right.
missing my life. You know, that was so far away from me. You know what I mean? It was like years away from me. You know, I was like watching these skate videos, man, and I was like crying because I was like, man, I miss that, dude, and I miss my old skateboarding friends, man, and like,
You
you know,
a little
and,
skater boy?
and there was like, yeah, man, I got a skateboard in my car, dude. No,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like
that's right.
just missing me, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, just like really missing me, like in just a dark place by myself, and nobody wanted to be around me. You know,
That's hard, too.
not even my dogs wanted to hang out with me, dude.
That's when you knew it was bad.
Man, homie and Sasha, man, they were like, man, nope. Like I would nod out, man, and I would come back to, and Sasha would be shaking, and she'd be licking my face because she was scared I was gonna die. You know what I mean? I even had my dog scared, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's the thing is like,
Why you do that
I
to
know
the
that's where I
puppies?
end up, man. Exactly. I love puppies, man. You know, but I don't want to be in a basement by myself. You know what I mean? Like wishing I wasn't here or wishing that like my life was different. You know, instead like. I'll go to a meeting and I'll share about like, hey man, this is where I'm at. You know, whether I've done it every day for like the last 745 days, I'll still come and do it for the 746th day because you know what, man, like some people take the time to listen, man, and that passes, and that is probably like the best thing is like when that passes and you're like, oh, I really want to be a part of this thing. Because for
Right.
me, I get really discouraged, you know, with like, and I got to work a step one on people. You know, because like I keep expecting me from other people, and I don't get
Right.
that, and I don't get that, and it hurts. You know, and it's not to say that I'm like this big like, you know, I'm not God or anything
Expectations.
like that, but it's just like I think that like reciprocation is key in a lot of relationships. But the thing is like not everybody operates like I do. You know, and not everybody processes everything the way I do, and not everybody has that perception that I do. Not everybody was getting told nothing means nothing when they were a kid like I did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like when I think about that, man, and it's like, it's so much easier to like just go through life when it's like, you know what, man, I can't expect me from other people. You know what I mean? So. All right, so we're going
Papa Bird. sent a
sausage
question.
fingers over here.
Papa Bird sent a question in.
Oh, Papa
Nate-
Bird.
Yeah, that's Nate.
Papa Bear.
Oh,
Papa Bird.
I was just talking about your sausage fingers.
I know he makes fun of my fat fingers.
every show. Anyways, so question 4. I'm gonna have this question for you, Tim.
Oh.
What is the best?
I thought it was gonna go to Murdoch.
Yeah, Yeah, he
know,
thought I
got
was
you.
gonna too. Yeah, I got him, man. So, Mr. Tim, get over here with you. Put that thing away. What is the best thing you can or have achieved since you understood recovery?
Understood recovery. Now let's break
Yes, the
this
best.
question.
No, just answer the question.
What a host. Jeez. You know what, Rob? I want to real quick commend
I'm
you
a
and thank
bulldog
you
him.
for being a host and stepping in tonight.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure.
Well,
man.
Tab
Just having
stepped
fun.
away. I think now is the time I should thank you for being here and filling them big shoes of mine. You're doing a heck of a job. For sitting down, you're a stand-up guy. Let's just say that. All right.
Just having fun, man. Just having fun. Answer the question.
So,
Tim.
what is the best thing that you can or have achieved since you understood recovery? I'm trying to even think if I understand recovery yet. Like, I correlate that with just not picking up right now because that's the one thing I have to do. Like, the only thing I really have to do perfectly right now is not pick up. What's up, Matt?
What's up, buddy?
Our producer stepped in. So I'm glad he asked this question because I think like I just shared to me like making it through my brother's funeral, like I think for me that was an achievement. Like because of what I put on that situation before it happened, like and getting through it and being there for family, like to me I always go back in that in my mind like it's such a terrible time of my life, but it was also like how I made it through that and still can be there for other like since then a lot of people have passed in recovery. Like a lot of people have passed and I can be there for other people that are dealing with what I know I went through. So like that achieved that I right away I wanted to think about, you know, like doing specific jobs and like being like I'm get at customers' houses, like they hand me money. This just happened the other day. Like they hand me like $700-800.
Monies.
And I sat there for like 20 minutes talking to him, and I was thinking in my head while I was talking to him, like 4 years ago, if I'd have had this money in my hand, like
Be gone.
he wouldn't even seen. There wouldn't have been a like. By the time he was like, "Thank you, here's the money," I'd have had a foot out the door.
Right.
And the money in one hand, phone in the other, talking to the D man. Like that's.
D stands for dope.
That's like an accomplishment.
Just to clarify.
Well, you did just say put that thing away and answer the question. But realistically, like those are the accomplishments. Like that's an accomplishment that I've achieved. Like being able to like just my emotions alone. Like that. Like being able to kind of have those in check when dealing with a lot of like family stuff.
Yeah, they're ishy.
It's huge.
Yeah, they're
so
ishy.
Murdoch, why don't you? What's the? You know what? What's the?
Whoa. Hang on
I'm
a
not the
second
guest?
here.
All right, I'm not the
still
host?
hosting.
Whoa,
This dude is still
bro.
hosting. So, Murdoch,
Bro.
what is the best thing you can or have achieved since you understood recovery?
Oh man, I don't know. It's you know, it's hard to like put my finger down on one thing.
Put all five into everything.
You know, like,
That's dumb.
No, I didn't mean it like that. Jesus, Tim, stop.
You were talking about my sausage fingers.
you talking
but-
about whole fist there?
No, man. You just you said
yeah.
one figure on one thing. I just figured I'd be a smart ass and say 5 on 5 things.
The
And
best
that's
thing
why I love
I've
you.
accomplished since I've understood recovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like one that
Well,
really
I
sticks
mean-
out, I think.
I mean, I think recovery itself.
Or the best thing you can or have achieved since you understood. So that
Yeah.
means like maybe it's something that like you
I
could
mean,
do.
My life
realistically.
is great, dude. My life is fucking great. It's
Yeah.
crazy. You know, like I you know, I work hard. I mean, I got a couple jobs. I go to school full time, and like
And he
you
gets
know,
tired. He's got a couple jobs and he gets tired.
Yeah,
Just
He's
and,
human.
like,
6 jobs.
it's yeah, and I got a little side hustle thing that I do, and like all of that though, like it you know, I live share a house with a dude in recovery that life is fucking like really great, and I lose sight of it sometimes, and like
I feel that.
I heard that.
I truly believe that the best thing that I've been given is the ability to be clean.
Right.
Right.
And like that, the greatest
good stuff.
accomplishment that I've received, because like I think about it, everything in the bank, you know, like I have no idea what I want to do in my life. And if anybody's looking for something that they want to do, there's this thing called FAFSA. It's Federal Financial Aid something. I don't know what the acronym is.
Federal
but like,
AIDS, yeah,
they will pay you to go to school. And so since I got clean, I went to school for communications. I was like, I don't think this is for me. I went to school for welding. I don't think that's for me. Right now I'm in school for automotive stuff, you know, and I don't know if that's for me or not. But like, the thing is like I haven't necessarily found.
But then again,
but that's okay because the journey of learning shit has been so worth it. And like, but really, truly, the greatest accomplishment I've attained is like being clean and being able to fucking grow as a person and like coming out of the fucking dirt. Like when I got clean, I was in this homeless shelter. I went to this fucking homeless shelter. I had nothing. Like coming out of the dirt and fucking learning how to be the person that I want to be. And that, to me, that's the biggest accomplishment. Because
You said you had a part-time hustle, and one of our listeners made a.
Krebs.
They're
man.
They're onto you.
Well, was it the wingtips? or was
The
it-
PBF flyers. You know what? That car you talked about rebuilding that.
The Pinto?
Yeah, did you do that in recovery?
1972 Pinto. Oh yeah.
I think you should share about that. That's a
yeah,
bad.
that's sweet. I mean,
Sorry.
no, that's I like building motorcycles and cars kind of, and I'm learning it as I go, and like
You got some. You always show up in some cool looking
Yeah.
vehicles.
That was
Yeah.
part of that thing I think at AFL with the motorcycle one
know.
time. I was like, that's that shit?
Yeah, but all that shit don't matter, dog. It like
Right, right,
legitimately
right.
doesn't matter.
Right.
Right.
Like I could talk about how financially comfortable I am. I'm financially comfortable. I fucking have everything I need. You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes I find it hard still having everything I need to you know, really be grateful and
Right.
appreciate the life I have. But like
For addicts.
the greatest thing I fucking accomplished is being able to live this way. And I don't do it
Right.
well sometimes. Sometimes I have
I
no
feel it.
fucking idea how to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, but that shit is dope, man. Everything I have would go away like that, dog,
Boom.
if I got fucking
Right.
Oh,
high. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like that. And
Yeah.
like, and so I believe that my greatest accomplishment is not only committing myself, but wanting the desire to want to learn to live in a different way, and like opening myself up to the resources to do it that NA has provided me.
Nice.
You know.
So we got some more questions that we shot way over a while ago, and they're still coming. So I don't know which one to do. They're similar. So
the next one.
we
jumped-
skipped over them.
Yeah,
so,
you jumped way ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
so
geez.
Alicia asked, after working all 12 steps, when would you say to start helping someone else, or do you believe that this is a question for your sponsor? So you can just totally deflect and say it's a question for my sponsor.
Oh, are you asking me this question?
Yeah. I mean, unless you want me to answer, because then I'll deflect to Rob, because he's
I
my
can-
sponsor.
Oh man, coming under the bus.
I think everybody's answer will be a little bit different, but
It depends on, you know, what fellowship you're
I
working
think
too.
that if you are clean or if you are trying to learn to live a different way, you are a help to somebody. And
Right.
like I'm sure everyone at this table in this room has had to go through trial by fires, understanding their boundaries. And like how much they can help somebody at any
you know
given
it, brother.
time, you know what I'm saying?
brother.
And like, so it depends. I think that if it's something that is new or beyond you, that discussing it specifically with your sponsor is a good idea. But I think that if you're clean, you are helping people.
Boom.
I'll answer this question.
Boom. Yeah, no, well, you shouldn't do that.
You know what? I think it's best to ask my sponsor. So, Rob, after working all 12 steps, when would you say to start
gotta
helping
work
someone
himself.
else?
Well, you know what, man? Here's the deal. It's like this one depends on a lot of things. You know,
Yeah.
it depends on what fellowship you're working, what your sponsor says about that. For me personally, You know, like when I'm working with guys and they're like, "Hey, man, somebody asked me to sponsor them." I'm like, "Do it."
Yeah.
You know, and then they come back with like, "Well, I'm only on step 3." Well, that means maybe you should be on step 4 pretty soon.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's God telling you
Hey,
that.
that's
Like,
that shit he
no,
said to me.
No, yeah. Well,
Heard this before.
the thing is that like, well, maybe that's God giving you a little push, because sometimes, like, you know, when somebody comes up to you and they ask you, you know, for your help, that means that they see something in you, you know, and that's the hard part about, like, you know, when you get into it, you know, for you know, the long haul. Like, I've had to turn people down because I have so many, and like a lot of times, like man, you know, like I'm like we were talking about earlier, like the schedule thing, I'm terrible at that too, you know, and but the thing is like I really want to be available for people, you know, and
Yeah.
and I try to the best of my ability, and sometimes it doesn't work out on my end, sometimes it doesn't work out on their end, or sometimes, you know, whatever, and sometimes, man, you know, I get some people that are like, oh, he's a shitty sponsor, you know, and maybe that could be for that individual, you know, and I haven't heard that many times, but. The thing is that like anytime that like that happens, man, that means to me it's like, well, that's God giving you a little push that like maybe you should, you know, proceed, because but the thing is too is that like it's also, you know, one of the things I say, hey, this isn't a race, but you know, at the same time, like, I mean, I've known some people that like, you know, they work a step a year, and like I think that's absolutely nuts, you know, but also. That's not my program. That's their program, you know. So it's like, I think that for me, like for instance, like I'm on my 12th step, like right now, through the Narcotics Anonymous program. You know, all the questions and everything like that. So, you know, like my first year, I you know, I was going through them. Second year, I went pretty well, and then third year, I just started, you know, I started beating around the bush. You know, I got to 8, and you know, I was like, ooh. You know, and then I got to 9 where it was like, you know, I had to make these amends to these people that, like, you know, sitting down across from them was very uncomfortable. And, but after, because I never made it past 9. But I have a sponsee right now he's, you know, getting to those steps, man. And it's kind of, it's great to watch him, you know, write them down and, you know, to go through them. And it's like, because I did that too, you know, and it's like, I mean, there's a lot of, like, you know, amends that we could make. And essentially, like, the thing is too, is that, like, sometimes, man, like, you're like, God presents you, or your HP, excuse me, presents you some, you know, a good moment to make that amends. And sometimes it doesn't happen at the right time, you know. I was well past my 9th, and, you know, I had a message from an old girlfriend that, like, I treated terrible, you know, and I was able to make that amends, man. And I'll tell you something about making amends is that that's one of the best ways for me to cleanse myself. You know what I mean? Like, to like really believe that, hey, I'm not that person anymore, or hey, I never was that person. I was just using chemicals, and that's what happened as a result of that. You know, well, I can't just blame it on chemicals.
That.
It was me that like participated in it, but like. You know, there were some real moments that, like, you know, I had one that, like, you know, like, I was very mean to this person in high school. I beat him up for no reason, you know, and he friend requested me, you know, and I was already past this step, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I didn't want to let him know I was in the program, and I didn't want to let him know anything like that. I just asked him how he was doing, you know, and it just so happens that, like, this individual was just hospitalized for alcohol, you know, and I said, well, if you need anything, let me know. You know, and I, you know, the thing is that, like, I can only imagine how this individual thought, because, like, the only memories he knows of me is me beating him up in high school for no reason. You know, so I'm just like, I could just imagine, like, on the other end of that phone, like, looking at it like, oh, this person is wondering if I need anything. What? You know, but like, and then I picked him up, and you know, I took him to a meeting, man, and eventually he asked me to sponsor him, and you know, that was like, absolutely, I said yes, you know. Needless to say, he's doing some research at the moment, but like I still try to reach out to him, like, and not be that person. But I think that, like, helping somebody else is like the best way to cleanse yourself, or like or to let yourself know that, like, you're not that person, you know, because, like, for me, I had this image of, like, I thought that, like, I was the baddest motherfucker out there. I don't know if anybody else had that, but you know, or that I was the toughest dude, and you know, don't mess with me, and this and that. And now it's like, man, I'm totally not that dude. Like, I don't want nobody to think that, you know, and I don't believe that. I don't want to. It's just, that's not who I am. And what I really realized is that was never who I was in the first place, man. I had some things that I really needed to dig up and work on. You know, and you know, because that old saying that hurt people, you know. And now it's like there's a better understanding for it for me of like, you know, what that really is, you know, and that's pain. You know, I see a lot of, you know, even people that aren't in the program, you know, on the streets or whatever, like, you know, like I'll see somebody acting in a belligerent manner, you know, like let's say, especially around this area, you know, and it's like, what is the core at the root of that? Like they're in pain. You know what I mean? Like they're in some pain. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
And I think when we're working with people that are in pain, we got to remember what it was like for us.
Right.
Early recovery. Because anytime I forget that, I start having unrealistic expectations. I had an incident with a friend the other night. He's actually in the room, and like I forget that he's just coming into. He had a relapse and he's in recovery in the beginning, and I treat him as if he's not that we're on different levels or anything like that. But I expect him to be emotionally where I'm at, or that at 12:30 at night, that he's exhausted like I am. When I don't know what he's dealing with, I don't take in consideration his feelings, what he's going through, what he, you know, and I did, yeah, pretty much 12:30 after 12 hours of, you know, living life. And being on the clock, I'm done.
How's your level of comfortability over there, bud? He's absolutely comfortable.
Yeah, I don't take in consideration of airing out his feelings on a podcast either.
By the way, we never talked about it. but now we are.
Right.
Yep. About that.
About that. Oh,
Here we are.
But he knows by now.
Well, he should by now, that's for sure.
Well, you know what the funniest part about is that when other people, I was talking to other people about this, like me and Matt are like brothers, and someone was trying to explain to him because they tried to like talk to me about it, and I snapped at them about getting on him, and they were like, you know the things about brothers, dude. You never get in the middle of them fighting because they're gonna both turn on you and you're gonna get beat up. And I was like, we don't live that way, I think. But that's exactly what I said. I'm like, no, dude, we don't live that way. So, and I'm gonna, you know, because this guy asked this question, Ryan did, and he talked about what you were talking about. So I'm just gonna try and paraphrase, and it might be off context, Ryan. So I apologize for that, but because I want Tim and Murdoch to answer this. Can you explain what slowing down in early recovery looks like for you guys, just staying the course? Because it had something to do with the conversation you had with someone.
Yeah, I know what conversation we're referring to. Yeah, most
So
definitely.
there's got to be some contents to.
Well,
I mean,
basically, like, all right, let's put it like this: like, what advice would you give a newcomer about slowing down in early recovery? Like, how would you describe?
Yeah,
that?
what does that look like
How would
for
you
you?
describe that to them? You know.
So one of the most difficult things for me when I first got clean was patience.
Yep.
You know,
Pray for that shit sometimes and
I
see what
fucking
happens.
I felt like I should be somewhere that I'm not, you know, or something
Right.
like that. I don't know, you
Oh
know,
my
like
gosh.
I was
Yes.
I was
Yes.
really hard on myself for not knowing how to handle certain situations.
Right.
Situations you've never
Situations that realistically I never
or had the
experienced.
skills.
Had the skills to, you know
You
what I'm
just
saying?
expected yourself to handle.
know.
You watched someone with 5 years clean and who has
Yeah.
a business degree handle something in business, and you were like, I should be able to do that.
Yeah. And like
I get
and so I think slowing down is crucial. I mean, it's like the same idea of like not getting into a relationship, not getting into this. Like the whole idea when the first year that I got clean, and even now, like I had to entirely relearn not only what I valued, but how I approach situations. Like the way that I did it was not good, was not sustainable. I mean, it was comfortable. I knew how to respond to things, but like how to look at situations and address them and act in a way that was in my long-term interest was something that I was not capable of doing. And like, so my first year, you know, I went to fucking 7 meetings a week. You know, maybe not my year. I missed some here or there, but I consistently did back-to-back
Right.
90
Me
and
too.
90s,
Me
you
too,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And like, you know, I because that shit is so important. Like shit will come, and I learned this now. I can say this in retrospect,
Right.
and this doesn't necessarily help someone that is in the position that I was in, struggling with patience. You know what I mean? And like, but you know, I had to fully readdress how I approached everything, and like not only that, my definitions of stuff, like the humbling of myself to admit that I had no fucking idea what I was doing, and I had no idea how to do it, you know, and like right now I've been clean. September was 3 years, so it's early September, and like this is the first time going to school now that I made a choice to put my recovery and my meeting attendance, put something else before it, which I still kind of regret because I decided to go to school full time, you know, and like I still make a meeting every day that I can, and like, but
Well, it's not like you're an okay. Oh, we
Yeah.
still see you around. You do what you
yeah,
can.
I do what I can. I'm still here, you know what I mean, and like and so I think it's important to slow down. I think that's really important.
Even back to like you saying like you were talking about earlier how like you're not like the social butterfly.
Yeah.
You've even like, do you mind if I share this?
Oh, I don't care. You can air anything, man. I know.
So you pulled me
Talk about
aside and
anything
said,
you
"Look,
want.
man,"
I don't care.
because my whole relationships are work.
Yeah.
You said, "Look, man, I like you. We're friends. I don't do a good job. I'm gonna try more to reach out. And
Yeah.
I just want to let you know." So like we've had that conversation, and so like you still try, and that's for like that's the thing. Maybe we don't get to if we're putting in the effort, and that's I'm just highlighting that so people maybe know we slow down. We're not gonna hit the bar at all these. We're not gonna make the mark all the time. We're gonna fall short. We're gonna fuck up. We're gonna go back to old or current behaviors. Well, you know, there's gonna be some stumbling, but as long as we're putting in the effort, and hopefully we learn from our mistakes, but. I'm not that bright. I like to learn the hard way.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, hopefully we learn maybe after the 870th time.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
We better do it one more time just to be sure. You know, that's usually how I roll. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I shouldn't do this. It didn't work out. Oh, let me try it again.
my
Oh,
God.
didn't work out. Let me try it again. Oh, didn't work out. Okay, that really hurts. Okay, I better do it one more time just to make
now I
sure.
lost a leg.
Yeah, now it really hurts. Oh, God. What am I going to do? You know?
Oh, as the tourniquet's on.
So, Tim, what would you say in regards to that question?
Kind of, you know what I've alluded to it. I brought this up. This will be the third time on the show, but like, there was someone who stood up in a meeting. It was during the Burning Desires, and I think he had like 2 years working, and you know, he was chairing the meeting, and it seems like he'd putting in a lot of hours at the club, volunteering, trying to do better, like. Really trying to do better, and during Burning Desires he kind of didn't really lose his shit, but like he put it all out on the table and was like, look guys, I'm doing everything I can. Like I feel like I'm putting forth like a lot of effort into recovery. I still don't have a car, I still don't have my own place, I still don't have this, I still don't have that, like all these things, and Rob like didn't really interrupt him, but like waited for him to finish, and Rob was like, could everyone in the room who's not where they think they were going to be at this point raise your hand? And like,
that's some Jedi shit.
like
by the way.
the whole meeting raised its hand, and I think it really helped this person. But it also, a lot of people, even like myself, like I just never really thought about that. Like,
Well,
we put these expectations on things, and then I like when I do that, I set myself up for some emotional failure all
also,
the time.
Oh, you know, in regards to that, is that like, you know, like, you see, because like, that's like the mind of an addict, you know what I mean? Because like, if I'm like, man, I should be here and I should be doing this and I should be doing that,
Expectations.
that means that I'm not even looking at where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
The moment.
Like, man, 5 years ago, you know, or like let's say 6 years ago. 6 years ago, like if these are all the things that I wanted in life, and this is what I wanted in life, and like now it's like I got them, and it's like, and I want more because I'm an addict. I want more, you know, and that's the thing is that like, because like I heard it for a long time, and then like, you know, I had heard these like I should be here and I should be there. Like, no, I should be dead or in prison. That's where I should be for the things that I did. And I'd say about 95% of the people that were doing what I was doing are in those
Are
places
dead or
right
in
now
prison,
at this moment. Everybody that I used with is dead. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if not, they're in recovery. But I can't think of any of them that like. I mean, there were people that were like on the outskirts of who I knew, but like my
we're
close
like the
friends
miracles.
are dead.
Like
They're
we are
dead.
what the miracles are.
You know, so it's
You
like.
mean none of the people you're using with got rich and lived happily ever in that magic?
No, check this
island?
out. So I know one quote unquote successful drug dealer.
I know two
He
two
is
successful
40.
meth heads.
He's 40. He's very overweight, and he just had a heart attack. And his house just burnt down. Matter of fact, you know. And so it's like in my head, successful. That doesn't sound like very much success to me. You know?
I used to have
but
a-
that just means that successful is like he didn't go to prison. He didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Well, and success
you know?
is each to our own. But Murdoch
Right.
said it earlier when he was just like going to meetings. Like Murdoch alluded to it earlier when he's like, you're the only one who's gonna know. Like if you're fulfilling your meeting list, if you're fulfilling your recovery, you're the only one who's gonna know it. Like you said you're kind of regretting like going back to putting something not really in front of you, like
Right.
recovery, but like you know if you're okay with it. Like only we're the only ones who will know it. What? Speak up, bro.
And you know, so like back to like what
Oh, yeah,
Rob
my
was
God.
saying. Yeah.
I'm sharing. I'm talking.
Man,
I'm
if
sharing.
you guys don't hear Tim and like hear a thud, Rob choked him out.
Nah,
Just
man.
so we know. Just
Nah.
kidding. Just kidding. That means we dropped something, not Tim being hurt.
It's all
But-
love here. It's all love here.
What I was gonna say is like I used to talk about the successful drug dealer thing too, and my whole thing was this: the two most successful drug dealers in my eyes were Pablo, who dies, and Scarface, who dies.
Yeah.
A fictional one and a real one, and they both die in the end. The pension plan is death or
Yeah.
prison.
Jails, institutions,
Hopefully,
or death.
yeah.
Like, and you know
Right.
what? I ended up at one of them. Like that was the bitter end. I was at an institution. People forget like treatment is institution. Like that's where I ended up. Was what these books. Our predecessors weren't full of shit when they wrote this stuff down. This is what happens.
Right.
We're either burying them, they're either going to jail, or you end up over at one of these treatment spots. And luckily, I made it out of a treatment
Or in
spot.
a
And
sanitarium.
now, you know. A treatment, yeah, an institution. That's all the above. And it's like, I was lucky enough to want this. Like, personally, I was. Not because
I
my
got a
mom
question.
wanted it, not because the judge wanted it. I wanted it.
So,
like,
Mr. Tim, you said you were lucky enough to want this, and for our newcomers and listeners, do you want it every day? Every second of every day? Do you always wake up wanting to be clean, wanting recovery?
me personally, yes.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that today. But now that you're talking about just recovery, yeah, I want recovery. Like this is what I want. I deal with life shows up, but life shows up regardless if I was high or sober.
Right.
The shit I'm dealing with today, it's
Well, you get to
unless
deal
it's
with it now.
self-made, like my family stuff, my friend stuff, your guys' shit, that's gonna happen whether I'm clean or high. Like
You get
I'm
to be a part of it
I
now.
get to be a part of it, and I choose.
And
I choose this.
choose your
yes.
reactions.
Like
or
every
act,
single
whatever, yeah.
second of every day, it's like that's not what's on my mind. But if I think about it, like this is the choice I want. This, I still today, like the guy who I'm guests with, he said like if I go back to using, everything's gone.
Boom.
Everything I've worked for
heard that
will
before.
within
I've heard that
within if I don't die instantly, like
Yeah.
within a few weeks, it's gone. Poof. The family and that right
Every-
now that's
every
what, it's
frickin'
not material
time.
shit that I hold high.
See, for whatever reason, I'm still alive.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But like, death doesn't even really scare me. It's like living alone in the basement.
Right.
Degraded, fucking. That's what scares me,
dark,
dog.
and just-
More
Right.
than
'Cause I've
anything.
done it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
And like, you know, that's the scary shit.
Right. I
Right.
agree with you.
As being that person again.
Well, and the thing is too is that like I know for me like for how long I've been clean, like I know that like they say that like the disease is doing push-ups. Like I know that I'm not gonna like go back and I'm just gonna use a little bit here and there and then it's gonna turn into something.
Yeah.
Like I know that like my brain has been waiting for 5 years
To
to
unleash.
use. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like yes. You know.
You
like,
can't be a weekend heroin user.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a social heroin user.
Yeah.
This guy in the comments said what I was talking about you and Jason, Rob and Jason saying in a different way, in a third way. Now, if I'm looking for an outside circumstance to solve an internal condition, I'm suffering from bondage of self.
And his
Yeah.
bondage itself is the killer.
And
Like that's what makes me really unfit is when I notice I'm being selfish or bondage itself. There's a whole bunch of stuff on bondage itself.
So-
Like it's bad. It's the worst thing that can happen to me personally. And humbling, like you brought up, is when a lot of these my outside influence, these people I respect in recovery, when they're there not to co some of my bullshit and, hey, Tim, you're being selfish. Like, that's humbling to me when someone who cares about me tells me that. And Krebs, I had a conversation this week about that same topic. Like, I wrote some, he wrote, this social media crap. I can get caught up in it. And,
that never happens to him, though.
But I really wasn't. I wasn't caught up in the Facebook stuff, but I talked to him after, and then
we gotta not take things personal.
No, and that's the thing is after we talked, like then I did. Like it had nothing to do with what was on some social media. It was after the fact. Like he's like, "Well, can I give you some constructive criticism?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I welcome it."
Nope.
Yeah. Like I
Like, no, you can't.
I truly welcome it. And then he wrote something about like the things we don't want to hear is usually what's going to help us grow.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the truth. And the more it hurts, as long as it's not vicious and someone's out to get you, like, the more it hurts, like, the more it helps. Mm-hmm. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but that bondage itself keeps me from seeing that type of stuff. Like, that's what a lot of these old timers and another fellowship taught me in early recovery.
So, Rob, do you got any questions for our guests before we begin the wrap up?
That was great.
That sounds like some lizards. Lizard. All right, come on, Rob.
Well, I remember, at the beginning of the show, I was like, well, what do you guys want to talk about? And Murdoch, he's like, oh, I'm talking about being humble. And Tim was like, I want to share part of my story. So let's hear part of that story, Tim.
Yeah. Give us a 5 minute. Give us a 5 minute thing.
Let's hear your version of being alone in a basement, man.
In 5 minutes.
3.5. Do it.
Ready, set, go.
Just kidding.
I'm gonna basically I can paraphrase the majority of it because where I ended up from where I started, like when I was up in the field parties and having fun with my high school buddies, like my goal wasn't to end up with a needle in my arm. Right. That wasn't the ultimate goal for me. Like I was raised in a loving home. I had two brothers. Like I was raised, I had two parents that loved the shit out of me. Like I had things I know now, like a lot of my surroundings didn't have and don't have. And I was raised in a way that I was raised to know right from wrong. And I was fortunate for that. And I decided to choose a lot of the wrong along the way. Which got me, like I can talk about using stories like the first time I got high, this, that, the third. But the first time I got high in a buddy's basement or drinking beer and orange juice when I was in 7th grade, like my goal was not to end up with a needle in my arm. Like people don't realize that like the problem was once it was like, God, I feel like I'm just quoting someone, but it's all rings true. It's like once it was too late and I realized that it was too late. Right. Like once I realized I couldn't stop, I couldn't stop.
Right.
Like and it's messed up because that's how my story goes. It's like in this disease, looking back at my life, it is a disease. It's a progressive disease. Like I always was telling myself, I'm not gonna die from this. There's no way. I got this on lock.
Not me.
Like
not me.
That was my story. Like I can keep doing this, and my head still tells me, Tim, you could have kept doing it. My head still tells me I was fine.
Even though you buried your brother.
Even though from the same drug I did. My head still tells me you decided to quit when you decided to quit on your own terms. Right. I always had legal problems, but every legal problem I had revolved around alcohol or drugs. Right. So like this addict brain that I have wants to tell me these things that I have. It's a daily reprieve. That's why like people like normies don't understand when they're like, you're going to a meeting again, like, oh, you're involved, like my days are filled with. Tad asked me like do I always want to be in recovery, or a question came in about that. Yes, fuck yes, because otherwise I'm dead. I don't have any questions about it. Jail doesn't scare me. It scares my family. Right. Death, like he said, like I don't want to die. Now that I've tasted freedom in life, like no, I don't want to die. So my story is like this. I started out having fun. And it progressed. Like I had girls in my life, I had jobs, I had this, that, the third, all that shit that you're supposed to do in life. I had all that. And this disease was progressive. And it got worse. And it got to a point of me being alone with no one around me. I had family that loved me and didn't want to see me where I was at. But I had support I always had support. And luckily enough, I decided to Google how to get sober. That's what I did one day.
Love that story.
Like that's how my story started in this life of recovery. Was I Googled how to get sober, and I followed someone else's instructions. And these last
That's one of my favorite.
these last 3+ years have been the best 3+ years of my entire life. And I've gone through more shit in these last 3+ years than I have in my entire life. Like I want to blame a lot of things on other things, but it doesn't matter at this point. I'm here today, and I'm happy for today, cause I can't worry about yesterday. I was just telling my brother that, like, he's like, yeah, I can worry. Like, you got to worry about something tomorrow. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You can plan for tomorrow, but I can't sit and worry about it. My story says I can't. I see where that got me in the past. Today, I'm worried about today. I have to be. Like the present. Yes, we have to save, and like there's some common sense involved, but this recovery thing has taught me so much, and just to appreciate the things that I do have. We've talked about it throughout the show, like you're talking about, Rob. Like I have to remember to be grateful for what I've really got. Yeah, I have material things. I've got all the tools I've ever wanted. Like that's been a goal of mine, and like I get serenity out of working. Like me personally, like accomplishing a home improvement job, that some people are like, you're crazy. I love it. I do. Me personally, I love it. When I'm able to fix my own vehicle and not take it to a mechanic,
and not stab it repeatedly with the pliers because
just
you
whatever.
lost your mind.
Like
that's a victory
those
for
type
me,
of
man.
things.
When I didn't smash the windshield, I'm good.
Right, and I've been there. Like that was old. I'm real grateful I get to do that, and like my story takes me to being where I'm at now. These are things like I never thought would be possible.
Yeah.
Just sitting for a day of not using or thinking about using constantly, like the fetal position and withdrawals and all that shit. Like I've been there and I didn't want it, but I went back to using after a lot of those days.
Right.
Like I just couldn't cop. That was it, or I couldn't find money that day. And I went through them hells, and it wasn't even that got me here. But I don't question why. I really don't. If it helps someone listening who's struggling to Google how to get clean, do it.
Do it.
Do it. And
Do
just
it.
listen to someone else.
Do it.
It's scary because it's the internet, and I've talked about it with someone else. Someone made a joke like, it's a good thing you didn't go down a different rabbit hole when you Googled something, because you could have been found yourself somewhere else. And it's the truth, but I'm just, I had to learn really, really to listen to someone else.
Really, really.
So, cut the promo quick.
At 2218. Oh, wait, Rob, go ahead. You've heard it enough. Cut the promo. About 2218.
Go.
If you're going to make some microphone noises, that's Murdoch's job. He did that lizard. Like
Cut the promo.
2218 is where we're having this podcast. Like, if you like what you've heard about 2218 and what it's done for us, like endless recovery and for the community and rides for recoveries and $5 foods.
Let me be honest with you.
Like
that was just a deflection because I didn't know what I was supposed to say. I had nothing to say.
There's
so I
links
figured
left and right on the messages, or else just go to the 2218 website. And if you're able to donate, this club could really use financial help. So if you're able to, please do. Otherwise, you just keep on listening and come to volunteer your time. There's plenty of things to come down here and volunteer for. That Ride for Recovery will still take volunteers. Come help clean up the club, sit at the front desk, security, anything.
You want to help with the rap battle? Unless you're Timmy, don't rap. So,
Shit, I even wrote a rap down for this week.
oh my God.
I got sausage fingers.
It's about sweet and sour gummies.
Oh no.
They're
Make
good
my
in
hands
my
straight.
tummies. Oh, yummies.
Oh, God.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. So, anyways. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Mr. Guest, Timmy J, what are you grateful for this week?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Humility.
yeah.
I'm fucking grateful for humility. Like, there's been a few times on the show where, like, I felt real awkward and like shitty when things were said. I was like, wow, did I say some shit to really make everyone uncomfortable? Like, that was humbling. Like, I'm grateful I can sit through that and then like 20 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes later, forget about it. Like, I move right past it knowing like they might judge me a little, but they're not gonna not like me anymore. Like things like that. And my family, like my mother, my father, my brother, like in my extended family, I got my cousins, I got Monticello, my niece. I got so many people that just support me and listen just because I'm me. Like, that's a warm feeling, and I love it.
Murdoch, what are you grateful for this week or today?
Ooh. I suppose what comes to mind is spring.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Fuck yeah, bro.
man,
Yes.
I'm a warm weather motherfucker. You
Yeah,
know what
hell
I
yeah.
mean? Like, a lot of those
Actual springs
things that
or all
keep-
these fool springs we keep having?
Oh well, either way, just that the sun sets past 5 o'clock,
Right.
and like, you know, some of the most grounding things for me. I'm big in gardening. I'm big on motorcycles, man, and like, fuck, bro. I just kind of hibernate all winter, and so I'm stoked.
Hell yeah.
I'm stoked.
Nice.
I
Rob,
wore a
what-
T-shirt today. It was
Rob?
fucking cool. Sorry, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I went for a walk with some dogs today. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
They were awesome. Rob,
Yes.
what are you grateful for?
Oh, I got vaccinated.
What am I grateful for? First and foremost, man, I'm grateful that I don't feel like putting a gun in my mouth and pulling the trigger at this specific moment right now. I'm also grateful that, like, at this stage in my recovery and this stage of how I'm doing recently, that not everything is a disaster.
Nice.
And it's not the end of the world. And I'm just grateful that, like, internally I'm moving past some things that, like, destroyed me for the last couple of years, man. And it's been a long process, but I'm just grateful to almost get to a place of peace, man. I'm working on it, and I'm almost there. I can feel it. My heart feels like it's beating regular again, almost. So I'm grateful for that. And also, man, I'm just grateful for the relationships that I have today. Just to my close friends, my best friend. She better still be listening.
Wait. Tad and I aren't your best
I
friend?
thought I was your best friend, bro.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah. See, here we go. See, that's what I'm saying. My close friends. See that's why I have a hard time saying best friend about people. Because,
I know
like,
who his
we
best
can have
friend
other
is.
people best
No,
friends.
because other.
I know who
because
his best
people-
friend is. I was with her today.
I have a lot of best friends.
Yeah, you can have more than
But
one.
you only have one best friend.
I was
and
joking.
Right. Well, anyways, like I was saying.
I was joking too.
Yeah.
We,
Is that,
we know who she is.
No, I mean, but what I'm saying is that, like, people in my life today that, like, make it a point to, like, show me that I'm loved, man, and appreciate me for who I am, and that's something that, like, I got a deep level of respect for, man, that, like, words can't even describe that, and I'm also grateful that regardless of what, like, life gets thrown at me, there's still a way out, and, like, at least I know that today. And it's not always, right in front of me, and sometimes it takes a little bit, and sometimes it's right there, and that's it, like, not everything is a catastrophe. So, Tad, what are you grateful for today?
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
I was wondering the whole time.
Is he
if
gonna do it?
Yeah,
Is he gonna do
yeah.
it?
Because I was gonna cut.
I
you-
wasn't gonna let.
Oh,
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna be dead air and let you wait.
I was gonna do something cool if you said something.
Yeah, well,
know.
you didn't, so.
You're gonna totally. You were gonna show me humility.
Because Rob did his job.
Yeah.
Boom. Imagine
Good
that.
job, Rob. I'm grateful.
Working's for suckers.
He's gonna humble me.
Yeah, right. I'm grateful that I got a great co-host this week. Not that I don't have a great co-host any other week, to be clarified, because I do.
I don't have any hard feelings.
Tim is the best co-host,
His
except
big-
for this week.
Big ass fingers get in the way
Like,
sometimes.
right. Pushing all. No, I mean, I'm grateful for my recovery family, and that people show up for me when I can't show up for myself.
Yeah, I feel
Like
that.
that's the coolest shit in the world, because ain't nobody was fucking showing up for me when I was fucking out there.
Right.
Right.
Unless they needed me to get them dope or some
Right.
shit. That's the only reason. And I don't know. I'm just grateful that, my life. And so, that I don't know. Life's different. Am I where I want to be? No, but like Rob said that. None of us are.
That's right.
Right.
And but I
Are where
get
you
to do
be.
this stuff.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
and
buddy.
I get to do this stuff, and I am where I am, and I love my life. I have great friends, and I have this recovery family. My best friend's on here, and she was just a guest a couple days. I'm going to have Easter with her, and I was actually just talking to her parents about her father when we helped him move about this, and they were talking about that struggling. So because like we're her family, and like because sometimes our families take that personal
Oh yes.
when we say we have a recovery family, but like they understood that they can't provide what these people, and the fact that like friends are friends, but we're family,
Right,
Because
yeah.
I love you, fuckers.
Yeah.
I do. And, I love my friends, and my friends love me. And getting that love is important. And it's crucial to staying clean.
100%.
And so I'm grateful that this is the life I live. And is it all perfect? No. Do I have bad days? Yes. Before we move into buzzer beaters, I just want to say anyone out there that's struggling and listening to this show, you're not alone. You are enough. If you need anything at all, you can contact 2218, the Alamo Club's website, message them, or you can hit me up at Tad Ackerman on Facebook. My email is tadackerman1@gmail, all lowercase. Tim, do you care if they have your info?
Timothy J. Warren on Facebook. Do not hesitate. Just make sure, when you're reaching out to either of us, or if Rob gives his info too, just make sure you're clear that you need some help in the,
And why you're reaching out.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of spam,
Yes.
and a lot of people hit us up. So you got to be clear.
Yeah.
Rob, do you want to give your info out?
You just hit me up on Facebook, man. Rob Herman. Basically, man,
Herman.
Reaching out comes from all places. I had a friend of my older brother's reach out, and we got him over here to a meeting, and I do believe he's getting some help at the current moment. So, regardless of your situation, whatever you're going through, I am willing to help.
Right.
I am responsible when anyone anywhere reaches out for help. So, I do live by that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Herman. Mr. Pee Wee Herman.
So this week's buzzer beater isn't going to take that long.
Mr. Sausage Fingers.
So, I mean, is everyone pumped for summer and all the summer recovery events?
Pumped.
Yeah. I'm glad I know a guy who works on motorcycles, because I got to let him know that my dry belt just busted on me.
Did it?
And we know it's
That sucks, man.
He's been whining about it for a week.
Yeah.
Bro, my belt snapped on me the other day. And that means my crankcase comes off, those two little
That's the
chains.
only reason he invited you on the show.
Yeah, right.
Murdoch.
No, but it's a job.
Yeah.
Swing arms got to come. What? Hey, my dry belt busted on me, so anyone out there listening can help. we got 1,500 listeners that maybe one of you guys are down to help.
Okay, so moving right along. Let's talk about next week's show quick. Hey, we had a great show tonight. We still have to get to buzzer beaters. I want to thank our guests. Thank you, Timmy.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Murdoch.
Thank you.
I want to thank our producer, Matt. And I want to thank my special guest co-host, the incomparable, the heavyweight champion of recovery,
No.
Rob Eye Candy. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You were one of the best co-hosts ever.
Man, you're welcome.
Yep.
Okay.
And so next week we're gonna have a cool show. One of my really good friends, Aaron and Brady, two of my really good friends. They were my roommates for the first 9 months of my recovery in the sober house. The three of us shared a room, and I've done a lot of cool stuff with these guys, limited but not contingent to recovery stuff here at the club, working at
So
a
wait, who's
detox.
that's next week's?
Aaron and Brady.
Aaron and
Aaron.
Brady?
Yeah,
And-
it's
and
a
then-
repeat.
And
that-
then,
Yeah.
I'm after that, right?
Yes.
And in
Okay.
2 weeks, you and my sister are supposed to be on the show. And
Hosting,
then,
yeah.
Yes.
Yep, host. No. You guys are guests.
Oh yeah.
Then the following week, you guys are hosting. Tim will be out of town, and I'm bringing a guest.
Ah, I see.
Yes. So, and
Four wide and
You might have to remind me 824 times, but I'll
just
remember.
basically think that you're here all April.
Yeah.
You are, except for next week.
Yeah,
next
you got
week,
next
yeah.
week off. So I mean,
Cool.
and so tonight's buzzer beater question was kind of inspired for and by Murdoch.
Oh shit.
So, buzzer beater is just a quick question with a quick answer, and this is not necessarily recovery related. Hey, what's your dream vehicle? So Murdoch.
Oh,
Man, that's tough. Can do we all answer this question?
Yes.
You gotta come back to me if you want me to pick one.
Oh man,
Well,
no,
go ahead.
Hey,
No,
you
no,
gotta
no,
go first, man.
Okay, I gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of metal, and like I like old boxy. I think that we got away from
Yeah, I feel that.
making cars, vehicles, you know, artistic boxy machines, which is what I like, you know.
Right.
But like, so I'm a big fan. I don't know if you guys ever listen to the muscle cars. They have this valve overlap thing where they make the oh, I love that sound. It's like fucking, it's like a little lullaby. And like, so I'm like a big fan of like if you can't picture it in your head, feel free to look it up, like a late 60s Z28. You know, right now I have this 72 Pinto Wag. I'm a big fan of station wagons, man. Some of those old station wagons. But like, if you were like, oh, I'm gonna give you any car that you want, it'd probably be like a 69, no pun intended, Z28, probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Mr. Tim.
You know what? Mine's not a 69. Mine's a 89.
Ooh.
Oh.
Z28.
Ooh.
I got one when I got one when I graduated high school from my parents, and I beat the living shit out of it. But it was nice. It was white, red leather. It had T-tops. It was It was a very nice vehicle. I would love to have one back again.
Matt says 69 Dodge Charger.
It's a nice
It's a
car.
nice one.
Yeah, hey, happy Easter before we, in case we forget, I just want to wish everyone a happy Easter and all weekend.
Yes.
Mr. Rob.
Yes.
Heavyweight co-hosting champion. What's your dream vehicle?
I love that sound effect, man. That's great. Oh man, that's a hard one, man. That really is, man. I'd have to say, man, like a '87 Monte Carlo, man, with some big dumbass rims on it, man. And,
Nice. Does it got bumps?
Oh, of course it's gonna have. Of course, we're gonna have 412s in the trunk, man, and some TVs, man, and some.
Dumb, man.
Yeah, man, just a
You
nice
get deaf just
some
getting in it?
candy paint job on there, man. Some TVs in
color?
there.
Oh,
White,
White.
pearl white.
Nice.
So, yes.
nice.
Tad.
There we go.
What is your dream vehicle?
Blaze orange Batmobile.
I was gonna say the Batmobile. I was just about to say that. I was just about
but
to
it's
say
bright
fucking
orange,
Batmobile.
so everyone knows that it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking like, so remember like the Val Kilmer with Jim Carrey, that Batmobile? Basically just blaze orange. Because, you know, I don't know. I don't want to drive a tank. But from what I've seen, the new Batmobile from the new Batman that's coming out in like 2 years with Robert Pattinson kind of looks like a Charger. Kind of looks like, yeah. And I haven't got very good looks at it, but that might be cool too.
You talking about it? Did you already answer this? A Jack Nicholson Batmobile?
Val
or like
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, with the big fins and shit.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
now
yeah.
imagine that just bright orange.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We cool.
Yeah.
Way cool.
Sweet. All right. Hey, we had a great show. Tune in next week. I love all of you guys. Say bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Have a great night.